Hi everyone. In today's session, we will be seeing queues. So already we have seen stack data structure. Now we will move to queue data structure. Okay. So when talking about queues, we all are familiar of queues. So whenever there is a ticket counter, say in a movie theater or whether it is in a railway station, if there is a ticket counter, there will be person standing in a queue to collect their ticket, right? So as far as a queue is concerned, you can say there will be two ends. One is the front end and another one is the rear end. You can see when a new person here person 1, person 2, person 3 up to n persons are already in the queue. Suppose next one more person arrives. Where he will be going? He will be joining at the rear end of the queue. So he will be entering to the rear end, and once the ticket has been issued, it will be first given to the person in front. So once after processing, P1 will be the first person to leave the queue. So leaving means he is coming out of the queue through the front end. Okay. So through front end he will be coming out. And here you can see the pattern is, it follows a FIFO pattern, which means the first person to count was the first person to be processed, or first person to come out of the queue. Okay. First in, first out. Whoever reaches first, he will be accessed first. So that is a structure followed by a queue. Okay. So we will see the basic or main points. Queue is an ordered list, just like a stack. It is also an ordered list of elements. It is a linear data structure which follows a FIFO pattern, first in, first out pattern. There are two pointers for a queue, or two ends for a queue. One is the front end and another one is the rear end, which means the back end. And the operations are NQ and DQ, where NQ stands for the insertion operation and DQ stands for the deletion operation. And here you can see the NQ or insertion will be happening through the rear end of the queue, through the back end. Just like a normal queue, it will be happening through the rear end. And what about deletion? Deletion will be always taking place through the front end. Okay, I hope the concept is clear for you. Now we will see in detail how NQ and DQ works. Okay, so we will consider an array. So I am having an array with elements, say index position 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I am considering this as friend, and items are 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 and 60. Okay. So whoever is at the first position, friend will be pointing to that, and whoever is standing at the rear position or the last position, rear pointer will be pointing to that element. Okay. Suppose if it is an empty queue, if you are empty queue, then the value of front and rear will be initialized to -1. And think of a scenario where there is only one element, where we are having only one element. So who is standing at the front of the queue? It is 10, which means front is at position 0. And what about last rear end? If you consider this queue, the last person is also 10, which means rear is also pointing to that same position. So front and rear will be 0. So here you can assume one more thing or generalize one more thing. Whenever front and rear is same or it's pointing to the same location, the meaning is that there is only one element in the queue. Okay, that you can keep in mind. Okay, so before moving into the operations or algorithms of queue, we will see the working of queue with an example. So you can consider a queue with maximum size 4 and which is initially empty. We are going to implement it using an array. So I am naming the queue as queue. We are having a maximum of 4 locations, which is 0 to 3, and as the queue is initially empty, we can initialize front and rear as -1. Suppose if you are trying to NQ a new element 10. Okay, so you can assume that the queue is empty, and to an empty queue, a new person or a new element is arriving. Where he will be going to stand? He will be going to enter through the rear end, and he will go and stand at the first position. Okay. So once the first element is inserted, it should be going to the first position, which means friend and rear will become 1. Friend is equal to rear is equal to friend is equal to rear is equal to 0. So it will be standing at 0th position. So what happens if a new element is inserted? A new person is coming, he is also entering the queue, and where he will be standing? He will be standing just behind 10. So this will be the place of 20. So now if you ask, where is the first person standing, or who is standing at the front? 10 is standing at the front, which means the front value will not change. The front pointer will always point to the element which is standing at the first position. And what about the rear? The rear will be pointing to the element which is at the last position of the queue, which means R will be pointing to 20. So R is at index position 1. So next, NQ of 30. What will happen? Again, the new element 30 will be inserted through the rear end. It will be going to stand behind 20. So friend, it is no change. Friend is still pointing at 0. It is still pointing at 10, which is at index position 0. Rear will be incremented by 1, which means rear will be pointing to this position. Suppose I am enqueuing a new element 40. 40 will be coming. It will be standing behind 30. So rear will be modified to position 3, which means rear will be pointing to element 40. Suppose again if you try to enqueue an element 50. Now you can see that the maximum size of the queue is 4. Already you are having 4 elements. To a full queue, you are trying to insert one more element. This situation is called as overflow. Okay. Now we can generalize. During NQ operation, what are the conditions happening? First thing, whenever there is an insertion, we will be checking for overflow condition, which means we will check whether the queue is full. When you can say that the queue is full? Suppose if rear is already pointing to the last position, you can say the queue is full, which means if R is equal to your max size minus 1, you can say that the queue is full. Why we are saying max size minus 1? Because we are starting from index position 0 onwards. So if max size is 4, the index position will be 0, 1, 2, 3. If already third index is filled, the meaning is that already there is 4 elements. So to check for overflow condition or check if the queue is full, we will be using R is equal to max minus 1. And what is the general operation during NQ? You can see initially R was minus 1. Then during the first insertion, R becomes 0. During the second insertion, R becomes 1. Third insertion, R becomes 2. So during every NQ operation, your rear value is getting incremented by 1. Okay. And what about the front value? Here you can see the front value is remaining constant, but for the first time when front and R was minus 1, front also got incremented. Okay. So to generalize, what we can say is that if the queue is empty, a new insertion will change the front pointer as well. Because when the queue is empty, front is minus 1. When a first person arrives, the front is also changing, or you know that in the queue there is a person. So you are pointing to that person. So normally front remains same. Front will be incremented to 1 only if it is the first element. Or you can say in another words, if your F is equal to minus 1, then F will be made as 0. In all the other cases, F will be remaining constant. There will not be any change for the front value. Okay. Now we'll see some deletion operations. How a deletion operation will be happening. Okay. So now we will see some DQ operations on the same queue. Okay. So the current situation is front is pointing to 0 and rear is pointing to 3. and you know that the queue is entirely full. Now we are going to do some dequeue operation or delete operation. So as you know, a queue follows FIFO principle, which means the first element to be deleted will be the first element which was inserted. So whenever you are doing a dequeue, the element you obtain will be, in this case it will be 10, or whenever a deletion is happening, it will be happening through the front end. So 10 will be deleted, and what will be the next element to be deleted? So once 10 has got processed, the next chance goes to 20, or the next element to be deleted should be 20, which means front pointer should be now pointing to 20, which means front has to move to 20, which means whenever a deletion is happening, front will be incremented by 1. So front will move to 1. And what about the rear? Rear is still pointing at 40, which is at position 3. So rear will remain as same. So again there is another dequeue operation, which means 20 should be deleted. So when 20 is deleted, the new element or the new front will be 30. So front should move to this position. So again front will be incremented by 1. Front will become 2. Rear is still pointing at 40. So rear remains same. Again you are having a dequeue operation. So next element to be deleted is 30, which is the current front. So 30 is deleted. Once 30 is deleted, front will be moving to 40, which means front is incremented by 1. So rear remains as 3. Again you are going to do a dequeue operation, which means 40 will be deleted. And as you can see, when 40 is deleted, the queue has become empty. Okay, when 40 is deleted, the queue has become empty. Whenever queue is getting empty, you have to know that, or you will reinitialize F and rear with -1. And what about dequeue again? Whenever you are going to try a delete operation or a dequeue operation on an empty queue, that situation is called as underflow. Okay, so now we will generalize. First of all, how we can check underflow condition? We will be checking whether queue is empty, which means if your front is equal to -1, you can say that it is a underflow condition. Alright. And what about the value of front and rear during deletion? Whenever a dequeue is happening, the front value is getting incremented by 1. So in normal case, front will be incremented by 1 and rear remains as constant, or will be having the previous value. But you can see during the deletion of last element, it has become -1, which means R value has also got changed, and the F value is also not incrementing, it is also getting -1. So what was that condition? After deleting this element, if the queue becomes empty, then we have to initialize F and R as -1. So while a deletion, the queue should become empty. The meaning is that the queue should be having only one element. Whenever the queue is having only one element, then while deleting that element, the queue becomes empty and we have to make it as -1, front and rear as -1. So how we are going to know that there is only one element in the queue? As I have said earlier, whenever there is only one element, both front and rear will be pointing to that same element, which means your front will be equal to your rear. So suppose if your front is equal to rear, then you will reinitialize F and R as -1 after deleting that element. I hope the conditions are clear for you. So in the case of NQ, if the queue is empty, for the first insertion you will make front and rear as 0. For all other insertion, rear will be incremented by 1. And to check the overflow condition, you will check whether rear is equal to max size -1. And in the case of a deletion, or in the case of DQ, to check underflow, you will check whether front and rear is -1. If they are -1, the meaning is that the queue is empty. Suppose if there is only one element, after the deletion, the queue will become the queue will get empty, which means front and rear should be reinitialized to -1. And how we are going to know that whether the queue is having only one element? Suppose if the queue is having only one element, then front and rear will be having same value. You can think of a normal queue. If there is only one person, the person standing at the first position and the person standing at the last position will be the same guy. Okay. So similarly, if there is only one element, the front and rear will be pointing to that element. So if front is equal to rear, there is only one element. In that case, after deleting, front and rear will be set as -1. In all other cases, the rear will remain as same and front will get incremented by 1. I hope it is clear for you. Now in the next session, we will see the algorithm for NQ and DQ.